Hi, my name is Aik Meng. I'm the Country Managing Director for Accenture in Malaysia. When I was doing my undergraduate studies in UK, I worked during the vacation. It wasn't an internship of sorts, but I was actually working in a McDonald's fast food restaurant in London. It was a very exciting time. It was in the summer. Summers are very nice in London, as you can imagine. It was very backbreaking for me, definitely, but I definitely learned a lot from the job. It was a time when I learned about hard work, working long hours, customer service. I also learned how to manage money. I learned how to interact with my colleagues. I learned how to, believe it or not, scavenge. So you learn to be humble, and you learn to, go back to doing menial jobs and stuff like that. Even though I was already in my teens then. So that was part and parcel of the job, which I kind of grew up in and learned a lot about. When I graduated in 1984 from the University of Manchester, I came back to Malaysia and started work almost immediately. I was working for a local software company, which is still in existence now. I stayed there for about 3.5 years before I joined Accenture. When I came back to Malaysia, I joined this local software house. I was quite fortunate in the sense that it belonged to a friend of my family, so I was able to bypass the interview process. But nevertheless, it was still a very professionally run firm. I still had to prove myself as a capable professional when I joined the company and started working there. It was very exciting as well. I studied for almost 17 years of my life, and I was so excited to start work. So it was, I was really excited during my first day of work. I still remember the things I have to do to improve myself, to learn new things. I learned how to work as a team member. I learned about new technology. I learned how to service customers. I learned how to do a lot of the technical stuff. I learned how to do programming. I learned how to do analysis and so on and so forth. Also, just as important, I learned about commercials, writing contracts and so on and so forth. Besides working, we also play pretty hard. Most evenings, we also had the opportunity to get out together with my colleagues and jog around the park. The office was around the Subang area, so if you remember, in those days, there was a huge park area there. A very important lesson which I've learned from Accenture and also from my client is integrity. I was preparing this report for my client, and in the report I had to gather a lot of information, as you can imagine, and present the information. So when I presented the report to my client, the first question he asked me was, "Aik Meng, did you verify this information?" To my embarrassment, I did not verify all of it, but just took it at face value. Now, from that day onwards, I made it a point to verify every piece of information I've got before presenting it to anybody. To me, it was a very humble lesson in integrity, and more so that it was taught to me by a client and reinforced by a client person. As all of us know, there is no shortcut to success. One has to put in all the long hours and the hard work to get to a certain level of proficiency when you can then be trusted by your bosses to do a job effectively. I would also say it's an issue of opportunities as well. Sometimes we can work very hard, but sometimes the opportunities or timing may not be there, and you could wait a bit longer. So to me, it was an opportunity and right timing as well. I would say, last but not least, it would boil down to my leadership capabilities. Everybody has got their own style. So I believe I have my own style, which kind of resonated very well with my bosses. My advice for the young professionals who are joining Accenture or any other services organization, there are a few sacred rules. Number one is that you need to be professional and behave professionally. Many times I've seen people coming for interviews or showing up for work not dressed appropriately, coming late, and so on and so forth. Recently, we did this round of interviews in UK, in London, and we have scheduled quite a few interviews. And very sad to say, some individuals had to cancel the interviews but did not even bother to tell us about it. So we were really disappointed by some of the behaviors of these candidates. Another important point is that working together as a team. In Accenture and as in many other organizations, we are all members of a team. We don't have a place for solo heroics. So you have to be a team member in order to be successful in Accenture or any other organization for that matter.